I refuse to let my children, Judah, Josiah, Joy, and Jana, grow up in poverty the way that I did. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to give them the opportunities that I did not have. Every last one of my kids will tell you what I always say to them. If you want to have an easy life, you better do things that are hard. But if you want to have a hard life, keep doing things that are easy.
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk it, we live it. You want it, go get it, then put in that word. We the 3.
Ooh, rah, ooh, rah. Welcome to 3% Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Steve Wilmer, United States Marine, author, speaker, trainer, and business coach. So glad to be here with you today, guys. We already had episode 1. Today is episode 2. Put your seatbelts in, lock in, click, click, let's go. If this is the first episode, here's what you got to know right from the very beginning. You're going to get the real. You're going to get the truth that's coming at you. This podcast is not about entertainment. This is not a therapy session. Get off my couch. This is only for those 3%ers. So what is a 3%er? Did you know that only 3% of people actually make $250,000 a year? And as one of those people who struggle to make their 6 figures, I have built a system to cut your learning curve in half without all the trial and error. So enough talking. Let's get this work. Today on this podcast, I'm going to focus on your why. Some of you want to start a business, but you have no idea why. Maybe some of you have already started a business and you still haven't clearly defined your why. Today, we're going to make sure we get that done. So, why do you want to start a business? Or why did you start your business? If I were to ask you, could you clearly define what the reason is? You see, when I started my business 10 years ago, I knew my reason why. I wrote down the reason why. There's an author by the name of Simon Sinek, and he wrote a couple of books. Know your why and start with why. Again, can you clearly define why you wanted to start your business? Because here's the key. When bad things happen, when bad times come, and I didn't say if they come, I said when they come. If you don't know your why, if you don't know what's truly keeping you grounded, you're going to give up. You're going to throw in the towel. Everybody write this down. Reasons comes first, how comes later. If you don't have a true reason to have you grounded, you're going to fall by the wayside like so many other businesses that are out there. So you got to understand your why. Some people say they want to start a business because they want to make more money, and nothing wrong with that, but the money has to be tied with something. We're going to be talking about vision. The money has to be tied to something. Is it a bigger house? Is it a bigger bank account? Once you get the bigger bank account, is it more vacations? Is it getting out of debt? Is it being your own boss? And if it's being your own boss, what does that feel like? What does that sound like? Is it financial freedom? You see, you just can't know it up here. You have to write it down. I always encourage to write a why statement. So when I first started my business, I kind of had an idea why I wanted to be able to do that. Number one, I just hate being told what to do, right? I wanted to be my own boss. But more importantly, I wanted to be paid what I was worth. I didn't want somebody else telling me what I was worth. I saw a quote once, and it says, there's no way I'm going to have some guy telling me when and when I can't go to the bathroom for the next 40 years. So that may be your why. I actually had a why statement. And here's what I wrote, and it was something very simple. It was on a 4x6 index card. And I used to keep that on my desk every single day to remind me why I was doing what I was doing. Because there were bad times. There were hard times. There were times I wanted to give up. There were times I wanted to throw in the towel. But because I was focused and I had my why statement in front of me, it let me know why I was doing it. So it was written in front of me, and right next to it was a picture. And here's my why statement. I refuse to let my children, Judah, Josiah, Joy, and Jana, grow up in poverty the way that I did. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to give them the opportunities that I did not have as a child. You want me to say it again? I refuse to let my children, Judah, Josiah, Joy, and Jana, grow up in poverty the way that I did. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to give them the opportunities that I did not have as a child. You see, once you understand why you're doing something, nobody can discourage you. Once you understand why you're doing something and you focus on it, nobody can get you to get off of that. But most of you want to start a business, or you've already started a business and you have no idea why. And that's probably why you're not where you want to be in your business yet. It's probably a good reason why you're not at that 3% level. You haven't made that first six figures, or maybe you haven't made that $250,000 yet. So I'm telling you right now, you must start with your why. If your why doesn't push you when times get hard, if your why doesn't challenge you when you get stuck, it's not strong enough. We actually had a vision board. So I wrote a vision board of all the things that I wanted to do. Again, because just to simply say I want to make more money, it's not strong enough, right? People listen with their eyes. I know we say we see with our eyes, but we listen as well with our eyes. What I see is where I'm headed. So I had a vision board. On our vision board, it had the things we wanted to do once we became financially free. Like it had my wife's dream home. And by the way, we're living in her dream home right now. We may put a picture of that, but we're living in my wife's dream home. Notice I say my wife's dream home, right? I was cool where we was, right? But when you understand why you're doing something, you've got something that you can run towards. Even the word says, where there is no vision, the people perish. What if I said it like this? Where there is no vision, your business will perish. Where there is no vision, maybe your why will perish. Your finances will perish. So I'm telling you, I had a why, I had a statement, I had it written down, I could recite it, and here, this is 10 years later, I could recite it. I had a vision board. It had our home, it had our home, it had our bills on there, bills that we wanted to pay off so we can be debt free. And there was a scripture that was on there, it was 1 Peter 5:7. See, y'all get me all off board here, but I'm telling you about our vision. 1 Peter 5:7 was written at the top of our vision board. Once and for all, laying all your weights, all your worries, all your anxieties on him, for he cares for you. So we put all of our vision up there. We put all of our debt up there. And one by one, through the effort, through the work that we had, God began to help us be debt free. There's going to be more stuff on that. But God began to help us be debt free. Why? Because we knew where we were going and we knew why we were doing it. So I'm going to encourage you, write your why statement and also have a vision board to keep in front of you so you know exactly where you're headed. Because when you know your why, you will know your way and you won't get off track. Here is the second thing to starting a business. You must know what problem you solve, and you must know whom you solve it for. If you don't know those two things, you might as well not even do it. So here's the brutal truth. A lot of people who want to start a business, or maybe a lot of people who have already started their business, they may not know why, but even worse, they don't even know what problem it is that they solve. And they don't know who they solve it for. If I were to ask you, who is your target market? Could you tell me? And let me just say this. If you're saying everyone, you're already losing it. You don't understand. Your business cannot be for everyone. It must solve a specific problem for a specific person. Now, I'm not telling you that what you offer can't help everyone. What I'm telling you is this. If you're not clearly defining and specifying who it's for, you're gonna miss so many people. I'm thinking about when my wife first started her business. So my wife is a financial advisor, all right? Wilmer Financial. And so when she started her financial business, she had worked with a well-known company for 10 years. And then a couple of years ago, she decided to kind of go out on her own and do her own thing. And I remember telling her, I think you should decide specifically who it's going to be for. Is it going to be for women? She says, well, it's finances. Everyone needs finances. And I say, yeah, it's not that you can't help everyone, but is it for women? Is it for veterans because, she's a retired Navy chief? Should you focus on women? Should you focus on veterans? Should you focus on people who are getting out of the military and they're trying to figure out where can they put their TSP? I said, just clearly define who your target market is, who your audience is going to be. But you must know what problem do you solve and who do you solve that problem for. Because if you can't do those two things, you don't have a business. You just got ideas. You got content. Really, it's just a bunch of noise. Clarity equals cash. Confusion equals broke. So do you want cash or do you want to be broke? Now, write this down. You are paid according to the problem that you solve. I want to say that again. That's something I learned early on, and it is so true whether you will agree with it or not. You are paid according to the problem that you solve. If you can solve a hard problem, you can make big money. But if you can only solve an easy problem, you're going to make a little money. So let me give you an example. And listen, this works in business, but it also works if you have a job as well. You see, again, the 3%ers, I'm talking to business owners, but you can be a 3%er and you can have a high paying job and to be able to take that job to the next level. So again, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm at a store one day and I'm in line and I started conversation with the gentleman in front of me. And I learned that he works for Delta Airlines. And the first thing I say is, I love Delta Airlines. And I do. I'm a diamond medallion. So I fly all across the country, right? There's only one state that I haven't spoken in yet, is North Dakota. Anybody on here listening, you want me to come speak in North Dakota, you're like the last state. So I've spoken in every other state many times, different cities and things like that. I fly first class everywhere I go. So we're having a conversation. I say, I love Delta. I own stock in Delta Airlines. Again, a whole nother conversation. You should own stock with somebody that you're doing business with over and over and over again. And here's what he says to me. Yeah, they're okay, but they could pay their people better. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? He goes on to tell me, listen to this, that he is the manager of the baggage handlers at the airport. And he says the baggage handler should make more money. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say something that may be controversial. But again, I'm telling you about the 3% and the mindset that it's going to take to get you to that six-figure income or that $250,000. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, yeah, they don't pay their baggage handlers enough money. He said, they got enough money to pay pilots, but they don't have enough money to pay the baggage handlers. And here's what I asked. I said, well, let me ask you this. I got two sons. And at the time, my boys were maybe like 18 years old, maybe 18, 16. I said, I got two sons. All right. They're teenagers, 18, 16, 19, whatever. I said, with a little training, how long do you think it would take for them to be able to do what the baggage handlers do? Scan a code, load it on the conveyor belt, scan a code, take it off the conveyor belt. I said, how long do you think it would take them to learn how to do that? I said, you think they could learn that in maybe 3 months, 6 months? He said, yeah, about 3 to 6 months. I said, okay. I said, now, what if they wanted to be a pilot and actually fly the plane? Do you think they could learn and do that within 3 to 6 months? He's like, oh, no, they couldn't do that. I said, is there a specific time? You think it would take 2 years, 5 years? He says, probably about that, a couple of years. They got to get their pilot's license. They got to go to school. I said, it probably costs some money, right? They got to pay some money. They got to have somebody hired. He says, all that. I said, great. I said, so tell me this. Who should make the most money? He says, well, obviously the pilot makes the most money. I said, you're right. You know why? Because they solve a harder problem. They solve a bigger problem. I get the fact that the baggage handlers want to make more money, but the baggage handler is not solving a hard problem. You hear what I'm saying? You may not like it, but it's the truth. You go through the drive-thru, the people working behind that counter, they're not solving a hard problem. Every time I go speak, teach, and train, somebody comes in, they clean that room, they hand me fresh towels. Praise God for them and praise God for the work that they do. But they are not solving a hard problem. Now listen to what I said. I didn't say they don't work hard. That is not what I said. I didn't say they don't work hard. My uncle worked at the docks. I'm in Pensacola, Florida. He worked at the docks for almost 40 years. It was some back-breaking hard work. slinging those sacks. He would come home dirty every single day. He worked hard. So why did the people that maybe own the docks make more money? Why is it that people who maybe worked with a suit and tie, maybe worked in corporate America, whatever, why did they make more money? It's not that they worked harder than him, but listen to this, they worked smarter than him. You have got to get out of the mindset that you got to start working harder and you've got to start working smarter. What problem can your business solve? Is it a big problem or is it a small problem? Is it a hard problem or is it an easy problem? Even my kids, I got 4 children. Every last one of my kids will tell you what I always say to them. If you want to have an easy life, you better do things that are hard. But if you want to have a hard life, keep doing things that are easy. Because when you do things that are easy, they require no commitment, they require no time, they require no spark, they require nothing to make you get out of your comfort zone. You will be paid accordingly to that. And then you're going to spend the rest of your time whining, crying, and complaining about why you don't have enough money. I was thinking about this, I don't know, last week or something like that. I'm on Facebook. And this is a simple thing, but I'm going to give you an idea. Do you know, I was talking to Irv and I said, do you know that in the last 10 years, at least the last 10 years, I have never complained about the gas prices. Don't matter to me what the gas prices are. This is really going to blow your mind. This is really going to piss some of y'all off. In the last 10 years, I haven't complained about who's in the White House. Not one bit. Not one bit. Here's what I find out. And if you don't believe me, look through the comments on your social media. Most people that complain about who is in the White House, politicians, news reporters, and poor people. I don't complain. There's nothing I can do about it. And I don't complain about things that I'm not going to get involved in. You complain about who's in the White House, but you ain't never ran for anything. You ain't never served in no political arena. And if you did serve, maybe nobody would even vote for you. Don't even get me started on that. My point is this. 3%ers, we stay focused on the task at hand. So learn how to solve a hard problem so you can start earning that first $250,000. So I want you to be able to define, number one, what is the problem that your business solves? And then you got to learn how to be able to communicate that to your target audience. Now, listen, don't be cute. This is not the time for you to be cute about it. This is not even the time for you to be humble about it. Now, I'm not telling you to be braggadocious, but you got to be on point and you got to be matter of fact when somebody asks you about your business. Anytime someone asks you about your business and you're like, well, I kind of do this and what I normally do is that, I'm like, those people are not going to do business with you because you don't seem confident. You can be confident without being cocky. Imagine going to the doctor, you having to have a surgery, you're asking the doctor about his qualifications or her qualifications, and the doctor says to you, well, what I try to do, that word try, I hate that word. I try. I'm gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to remove this, and hopefully we have a really good outcome. We really don't know, and da-da-da-da-da. You're gonna be like, I'm not finna let you operate on me. I'm not finna let you operate on me. But what if the doctor said, hey, we do this all the time. We're very successful in doing this. As a matter of fact, we've done this X amount of times, and you are in good hands with me and my staff. You don't have to worry about a thing. We're going to take care of you to make sure you come out of this on the other side. That's going to give you confidence. That's not cocky. That is stating the fact that as a professional, you know what you are doing. So you've got to be able to define and to be able to relay to your customers, your prospect, your target market, your audience, that you know what the hell you are doing and what you are talking about and why they should frequent your business. No one pays for vague outcomes. They pay for you to solve their problems. Write this down. When problems are solved, money changes hands. The person who wins is the person who can clearly define your problem and then solve it. And here's how you do that. You must tie the problem that you solve to their pain or to their feeling. Know this, 82% of people buy things based on emotions, not logic. The problem, most business owners try to sell on logic. They make everything about logic. But 80% of us buy things based on emotion. And we know that's true because a lot of people are emotional buyers. We're emotional spenders. We move on emotion. But when it comes to business, you try to be technical with your business. Oh, I do this and then I do that. And then it's A and then it's B and then it's C and then you're going to have this outcome. Hell no. You got to tie what you do to the person's feelings. How does that make you feel? And if you don't have that, then what are you going to do? And if that's the case, then what about this over here? Because we can do this. We can make you earn $250,000 a year. When you earn that money, you're going to live in a better house. Your wife's going to be all up on you. Your husband will be like, oh, babe, you doing your thing. The kid's going to be. You had better be able to tie your problem to a feeling and then show how your business can help them receive the results that they're truly looking for. So tie it to a pain. Pain, it's stressful. It's frustrating. Nobody likes pain. Make it urgent. We got to get this done now. If you don't get it now, you could lose out on this. A lot of times people will ask me, how much does it cost for you to work with my company? How much does it cost for you to come and speak? I never answer a cost question with cost. I always answer it with value. And my response is, that's a great question, but what does it cost you if you don't? If you don't hire me and my staff, me and my team, how much money are you leaving on the table? How much money did you leave on the table last year? How much money did you leave? If you don't hire me to come and speak and teach and train, how much money are you going to lose? Is your team going to be able to get the things they need in order to move forward? So the question really should not be, why should you hire me, but why wouldn't you? It has to be tied to urgent. And if your business or the problem that you solve does not hit on one of these things, then I hate to tell you this, you don't have a business. You just got a hobby. So let's break this down. I want you to write down, who is your target audience? No more vagueness. No more anyone. No more everybody. No more whoever wants to make this. No more whoever is. No. You cannot be vague. It has to be an exact science. So my target audience is not business owners. It's not entrepreneurs. It's not salespeople. It is very specific who I am looking for. Solo business owners, solo entrepreneurs, small business owners, those individuals wanting to earn $250,000 a year. If you don't fit one of those categories, you are not my target market. Can my training help every business owner? Of course it can. I don't want every business owner. I want small business owners. Can my training help somebody who's making $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $10 million a year? Of course it can. That's not my target market. My target market, those of you who are trying to make six figures, those of you who are trying to earn your first $250,000 a year. Business punishes the vague, but it rewards the specific. Now, let's focus on weak versus strong. Here's weak. I help business owners grow. Here is strong. As someone who struggled to earn their first $250,000 in revenue, I have developed a system that will absolutely cut your learning curve in half so you can avoid the years of trial and error that I experienced. Now, let's go through the breakdown of what I just told you, because each of you must do this in your business as well. As someone who struggled to earn $250,000, that's so much better than I help people make $250,000. I'm telling you where I came from, and then I'm telling you where I am now. There are a lot of people out there that would say, I help people. I help people. We all help people, but it's so much stronger when you can put yourself in that position to make the customer understand, oh, you've been there. Oh, you've overcome that. Oh, you can teach me. I've told you, stop taking advice from people who are not going where you want to go, or more importantly, who have not been where you're trying to go. The second part, I have developed a system. It shows that I know what I'm talking about. Where you're trying to be, I already been there. I have developed a system. Remember, business owners that have a goal only want to win what? Once. Business owners who have developed a system, they want to win repeatedly. They want to win over and over and over again. When I say I've been there, it shows that I know what I'm talking about. I identify myself as the expert. I've been where you're trying to go, and so therefore my system can teach you how to get there. So I position myself as the expert in my field. Now, there are some of you out there, you're starting a brand new business, and you're thinking to yourself, or maybe you're saying to yourself, well, Steve, that's great for you, but I'm not the expert. I know I can do this, but I don't have the client you have. I don't have the history. Don't worry about it. Let me give you a couple of examples. There's a book that I read years ago called Shoe Dog. It was written by Phil Knight. He's the owner or the CEO of Nike. And so he was in this business deal and he's talking with a guy, and the guy was like, you know what? We only do business with people who have an office in New York. And Phil said, hey, no problem. I got an office in New York. And the guy's like, really? Yeah, I got an office in New York. So we can do business there. So the guy's like, okay, well, we'll send the information over. We'll do business with you. He says, great. He gets off the phone. He calls one of his managers or something like that. And he says, hey, get to New York, find an office, and open the office. I'll let you take away from that what you want to take away from that. I'll let you decide if that's something that you would have did or that's something that you wouldn't have done. Because I would have said, absolutely. Oh, you only do business with people who got office in New York? We got office. No problem. You know how easy it is to get an office in New York if you're willing to pay the money? You can get that. Now, let me bring it home to how it helped me in my biggest revenue at the beginning. I'm in Chicago, Illinois, and I am speaking to an audience of State Farm agents. As a matter of fact, when some of the State Farm agents hear this, they may remember that they were in that room. So think about it. I'm in the room. It's a huge audience, and I'm telling them what I'm going to do. I'm identifying myself as the expert. I'm going to train your team. We have built the system. There is a system where they're going to log on to a Zoom. We're going to train them for 6 months. They're going to learn A, they're going to learn B, they're going to learn C. We've got a program that does A, B, and C. And when they do A, B, and C, they're going to make these sales. They're going to learn. It's already set up. The first class is in 2 weeks. And if you want your people in that class, I'm going to be at the back of this room. Come to the back of the room. You swipe your credit card. Normally, my program is $3,000 per person. Today, it's only $2,700. You get a $300 discount, but you must, urgency, but you must enroll today because tomorrow the price goes back up to $3,000. Thank you for your time. So I did a whole program. That was my close. I went to the back of the room and there was a line out the door. Agents swiping their credit card, $2,700, $2,700, $2,700, $2,700, $2,700. I made more money that day up until that point than I had ever made before. It was ridiculous. Here's the key. Everybody finishes. I sit down. I look over at my assistant, and here's what I said. You know I don't have no program yet, right? She was like, what? I said, don't get me wrong. I said, I know what the program's going to be, but it's all up in here. I got 2 weeks to come up with class number 1. I don't have to have the whole 6 months laid out. All I had to have it up here, and I had 2 weeks to create class number 1. Once I created class number 1, I created class number 2. Once we did class number 2, I had 2 weeks to come up with class number 3. I went home, back to Pensacola. I called up Zoom. I'm like, hey, I need a Zoom account. Not really sure what a Zoom account is, but I need one. And I need to be able to have 200 people, 100 people, whatever the case may be. Now, I want you to think about this. What if I had said, guys, I don't have the program, but I'm going to get the program. It's going to be in 2 weeks. Call me in 2 weeks and I'll get you signed up. How many people do you think would enroll in that program 2 weeks later? See, I'm telling you right now, you just have to be the expert. You got to present yourself with the expert. Stop thinking that you got to have all your ducks in a row. Stop thinking that you got to have everything outlined. That's the problem with a lot of you right now. You won't move forward because you got to see the whole picture. And if you don't see the whole picture, you won't even move. Write this down. Perfection is the enemy of profitability. Remember, every winner was a beginner. Every master was a disaster. You're looking at me 10 years later. Oh, we got a program now. But when I started 10 years ago, we ain't had no damn program. It was all in my head, and it was just me. It was only me. I knew I could do it because I had been doing it, but it had not been written out. It had not been mapped out. So here I am, 10 years later, 7 figures, 8 employees, great coaches. Program is late now. But I want you to think about it. Before I wasn't the expert, I presented myself as the expert. Now I am the expert. And me and my staff can help you take your business to that next level so you can earn that first $250,000. So again, why is it important to be specific on who your target audience is? Specific recognize themselves. When you are specific, they go, ooh, that's me. Ooh, small business owners, that's me. I'm trying to make $100,000, that's me. Trying to make $250,000, that's me. If you are too general, they don't recognize themselves and you lose that business. Also, if you cannot describe to a prospect what you do in one clean sentence, you're also going to lose. Some people call it an elevator pitch. When you get on the bottom floor with anybody in an elevator, and at the bottom floor, they say to you, tell me what you do. And you cannot explain quickly, correctly, and very calmly what you do. By the time they get to whatever floor they're going to, you lose. As a matter of fact, I used to practice that. And remember, these are strangers. These are prospects. So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Start to practice your elevator pitch. If you try to appeal to everyone, you end up selling to no one. Ask yourself, can my target audience immediately identify that I'm speaking to them? If the answer is no, it's too broad. Ask yourself, is the problem I solve specific and is it painful? If the answer is no, it's too soft. Ask yourself, is the problem I solve financial? Does it solve a financial issue? And does the customer think, hey, I got to get this done right now? If the answer is no, it's not compelling enough. And finally, ask yourself, would somebody pay for this right now? And if the answer is no, it's the wrong damn problem. Now, let's talk about massive action. Write this down. Speed over perfection. You have to kill overthinking, over planning. Replace that with launch it ugly, launch it now, improvise, adapt, overcome. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need proof that somebody will pay. Sales first. Sales is the oxygen to all business. Now, here's something I say every single time. A lot of people disagree with me, but you got to understand that sales solves all business problems. You should write that down. Stick it up somewhere. Listen to me. Sales solve all business problems. Why? Because sales brings money. And money will solve whatever business problem that you have. I was talking with a business owner, one of my clients, and she was trying to put this huge event on, and she was worried that she wasn't going to get enough people in the room. And I said, well, sales solves all business problems. She said, no, it ain't that. I got to get people in the room. I got to market. I said, it ain't about the marketing. It's about the sales. I said, how about this? I said, why don't you go and hire Les Brown? If you hire Les Brown and put him on stage and tell people he's going to be there, the room will be packed. She says, I can't afford Les Brown. I said, oh, so you ain't got no sales. If you had the sales, you would have the money. You could have the money to hire Les Brown. Sales solve all business problems. I have another client. He's a personal trainer, and he didn't like the place where he was doing his personal training. And so he wanted to open up his own gym. Well, I got to market. I got to have this. I said, why don't you just go find a space, build a gym? Or why don't you just go find a gym that's already there, buy them out, bring the equipment in? Or if you buy the gym that's already got the equipment in there, you don't have to worry about it. You can walk in day one with money, with revenue coming in. And he was like, I don't have the money to do that. I said, sales solve all business problems. Think about whatever problem you have right now. I guarantee you, if you would tie it to more sales, it'll solve that problem. So many clients, they go, and listen, nothing wrong with marketing. You have to market. You can be as sweet as you want, but if people don't know about you and they don't know about your business, that you are still going to lose. Your level of success is determined by your level of exposure. So I get the fact that marketing is important. I get the fact that having a website is important. I get the fact of having people go to your website and converting those people that are looking at your website into prospects and into customers. I get all of that. But sales is the oxygen. If you don't know how to sell, you don't have a business. So here's your first goal. Get one customer. Guess what your second goal is? Get another customer. And you continue to do that over and over and over again. 3 things you got to focus on. Number 1, you got to focus on people. You have to focus on activity. How many people each day are you contacting? How many people each day are you exposing your business to? Whether it's a conversation, whether it's a website. But you must have activity. Number 2, and this is something that business owners miss all the time. Ask for the sale. You have to ask for the business. What is your closing question? In that elevator pitch, do you have a closing question? When you're speaking with the customer, do you have a closing question? What are you asking to move them from just thinking about doing business with you to actually giving you the money and start doing business with you? And number 3, you must be able to overcome the objection. If you're going to be in business and be successful, you had better be really good at hearing the word no and really good as taking it as rejection and then continue to move on. You must learn how to overcome those objections. If you can put those 3 things together, I promise you, you're going to have a successful business. Got to have activity, got to ask for the sale, and you must be ready to overcome the objection, overcome the no. See, here's the hard truth. The ability to sell is the number 1 skill set in a business. I'm going to let that sink in for a while. It is the number 1 skill set in the business. It's the ability to sell. It's the ability to be able to convert a prospect to a customer. If you cannot sell and you haven't started a business, don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. You had better learn how to sell, or you had better find somebody who can sell. Because if you can't sell, it's not going to work. Think about this. My company In the last 10 years, we have trained right about 5,000 State Farm agents. Every State Farm agent has an average anywhere from 3 employees up to 10 or more employees. State Farm is the #1 auto insurer in the nation. State Farm is the #1 homeowner insurer in the nation. State Farm, believe it or not, some of you don't even know this, they are the #1 life insurance company in the nation. They spend millions upon millions of dollars on marketing, on advertising. You see that red and white sign, you know exactly who it is. I say Jake from State Farm, people lose their mind. So think about it. This multi-billion-dollar company has everybody knows pretty much around the world who they are. And do you know that 19,000 agents all across this country still hire us to teach them how to sell? Not market, how to sell. And that is why they are the #1 insurer in our nation. You had better learn how to sell. Now, when I talk about activity every single day, you have to be consistent. You got to be committed. When you're committed, that means doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has passed. Consistency equals success. Consistency comes before confidence. Consistency comes before comfortable. Daily outreach, daily reps. You even have to show up when it's boring. You must be consistent. Motivation fades. Systems win. Discipline wins. And discipline is simply deciding between what you want now and what you want most. Improvise, adapt, overcome. When you start your business, things are not always going to go the way you expect them to go. What you thought was going to happen may not happen. Or if it did happen, it may not happen the way you thought it was going to happen. When COVID hit, a lot of people lost their business. A lot of people, this was 6 years ago, a lot of people lost their business. 6 years ago was the first year that my company made $1 million. Every company around me was falling, was failing. My company made $1 million. It's the first year. Why? Because I went from having to travel from city to city to city and speak in front of a group of people. That canceled, right? Nobody was getting together. Nobody was going, hey, come out here and speak. We're going to put 200 people, 500 people, 1,000 people in a room. Nobody was doing that. One by one, I saw every single speaking engagement for that year disappear. What did I have to do? I had to improvise, adapt, and overcome. Zoom. Virtual training became a thing. In your business, you may have a plan. You may have a system. That's great. But if it doesn't work the way you expect it to work, you had better be able to improvise immediately. You must be able to adapt to your surroundings, and you must be able to overcome, whether it's an objection or whether it's a situation that's in your business, you must be able to do those 3 things well. All right, that's my time. Before I leave, here is your mission. I got 3 for you. I got 3 challenges for you. Number 1, I want you to write your why statement. Why are you starting the business, or why did you start the business? Write it very simple on a 4x6 index card. Keep it in front of you every single day so you can see it and know why you are doing what you're doing. Number 2, I want you to write out and then practice in front of a mirror your elevator pitch. What is it that you do? Who do you do it for? I want it clearly defined. Make it specific. Again, it cannot be for everyone. If you try to appeal to everyone, you're not going to be able to sell to anyone. Write your elevator pitch. And here's number 3. And I wasn't going to give you 3, but I'm going to give you number 3. If you already own a business, or maybe even thinking about starting a business and you know what problem it is that you solve, here's number 3. Real simple. Go sell it. Go sell it to somebody. Go ask somebody to buy your product, to buy your service. I'm just throwing that last one out there. Number 3, go sell something. All right, team, listen. After doing this episode, I'm realizing now it's a lot of you out there that are struggling with selling your product. A lot of you out there are struggling with selling your service. So here's what I'm going to do. Episode number 3, I want you to come back, and I'm going to spend the entire episode, no matter how long it takes, on the art of sales. I'm going to show you how to close. I'm going to show you how to overcome objections. I'm going to show you and talk to you about sales completely. Because I'm telling you right now, all this other stuff that you guys are learning, if you don't have somebody teaching you how to sell, how to close the sale, you're wasting your time. You are wasting your time. So come back on the next episode. It's going to be all about sales. All right, team, that is my time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. If you have a question, please put your question in the comment. We love getting those questions, and we want to start answering those on each one of these episodes. I appreciate you so much. Until the next time, remember the 2 most important things in life and business: love God, love people. 3% mindset. Hoorah.